Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to establish something. As a console player of Overwatch, we experience a lot of issues. I've noticed a lot recently, given that there's a new console forum on Blizzard, that a lot of people have the same issues as us. So I wanted to kind of establish that and talk about it a bit. So a lot of the heroes that people play on PC aren't really played on console, and there are reasons for that. One of which being Widowmaker. Widowmaker is very hard to use anyway. On PC, she's still difficult. She's one of the best heroes in my opinion in terms of her kit. And we cannot really use her on console. I wanted to establish why. It's very hard to flick shot on people on console. It's possible, but very hard to do. And Widowmaker kind of thrives from this. Recently, we did have a buff to Ana on the console that was mainly centered around her aim. They had her aim assist buffed so that it was easier for people to hit friendlies with your shots, which is great. I feel like the same kind of thing is needed with Widowmaker. Aim assist on console is stuffed anyway. It doesn't really work. And I think it's something that really does need to be remedied. The size of their hitboxes with Widow is exactly the same as it is on PC. A keyboard and mouse is a lot easier to control than a console controller because there's more freedom of movement. We only have a thumbstick. I feel like Widowmaker is one of those heroes that really needs a buff on console. Also, one of the heroes that I kind of feel like needs a buff, not necessarily a buff, but more of a rework for console, is Tracer. One of the main aspects of Tracer is being able to move around quickly and being able to put out consistent damage. One of the tips when I first started Overwatch that I picked up about Tracer was being able to move very quickly in a 100-degree angle works very well after you've blinked and you can move very quickly. It is, without 100% sensitivity activated, it is very hard to pull that off, which makes Tracer on console a very weak hero. It's the same thing for Genji really. Genji kind of needs the same buff, given that it's very hard to move well with Genji on console compared to PC. Pharah is also somebody I feel like needs a console rework. Her movement is very difficult to pull off on console. I want to establish now that I'm not saying that these heroes, there's no good players out there. I know there are, and I've died to them, and I've even been one of them. It's great, and you know, if you're good with these characters, keep going. But I feel like for the general population of console Overwatch players, we really, really need some of these changes to happen. Also, something that really does bother me about Overwatch's console platform is the lack of a PTR. This is something that I've been saying from the get-go, especially to a lot of the others that I play with, is that the main way that Blizzard will adjust heroes is depending on what people think of them in the PTR. That PTR is only there for PC players. I feel like Blizzard, if they could give us a console version of the PTR, would mean that the console players would be able to put across their views of the heroes as well. I feel like if Blizzard gave us a console-specific PTR, then they could consistently adjust heroes console only, exactly the same as they had done Ana, but right from the get-go. If they did it right from the get-go, then it means that it would be less difficult in the future for the long run. Also, with the PTR, is that as soon as people jump in there are consistent things being changed to Overwatch that, on the flip side, were fantastic on console, but just because the PC players thought that it was a bad thing, instantly gets nerfed or buffed that the console players can no longer use. I feel like a console player's voice is never really heard in the Overwatch community, and it's a massive, massive shame, given that the console community of Overwatch is a very high population of the people who play it. So I feel like, in essence, Blizzard needs to take more notice of what we as a community of console players are saying. Now, I know that people who play on PC will say, but we are the largest population, and that's absolutely fair enough. But Blizzard's main goal on Overwatch should not be to please people. It should be to make the game fun, and they're doing so. But in order to make the game more fun, especially for console players, they need to make things a little bit more consistent on our consoles. Anyway, I just wanted to have a little rant about it because I thought that it was quite interesting to think about, and maybe it would make you guys think about it more. I'm very sorry for the lack of Overwatch content recently. We've been very, very busy. I'm very sorry for the lack of face-to-face as well. My camera is busted, so I'm annoyed and also swamped underneath work. So I'm very sorry for the lack of content that's been coming out recently. But that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, because I thought it would interest you guys, especially if you're playing Overwatch with us, then you would kind of have the same. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.